Welcome, everyone. The format for this meeting is an interview with an alcoholic, the hot seat, inside the alcoholic studio. A speaker will be asked a series of questions that range from their personal story, the steps, relationship with God, and carrying the message. There are no right answers, just a fun and interesting way to share the speaker's personal insight. Our speaker for tonight is Keely. Timekeeper, please allow 90 seconds per question. The meeting may run slightly longer. We might go 5 minutes over. Members, please feel free to leave, of course, if needed. Speaker, please say done when you have finished your answers. And if you'd like to, please say pass on questions you prefer to skip. Are you ready?
Okay, I am. Thank you.
Let's begin. Please generally describe in your own words our basic text, the book Alcoholics Anonymous.
Wow, 164 pages in 90 seconds. Okay. The big book for me has been an experience to get rid of the things that stand in my way of my relationship with my Creator and learning how to have a happy and purposeful life. And inside that book are the tools and the instructions on how to get there. Done. Okay.
Question number 2. Keely, are you an alcoholic? And if so, what personally makes you an alcoholic?
I am an alcoholic, and once I stop drinking, I go to pitiful lengths, incomprehensible lengths to continue to drink. Even though I want to stop drinking, I don't stop drinking, no matter what I'm losing or where I end up. Done.
What does the concept of anonymity mean to you?
Ooh, I like this one. I just did this December. Anonymity to me has taken on a whole new meaning. At first it used to mean that I was kind of private or I didn't want anybody to know that I was an alcoholic. And the longer that I've stayed sober, it has turned into not needing to be characterfully identifiable. I'm more just kind of a worker among workers. I don't need to stand out. I don't need to be special anymore. I'm just kind of... It's it's more about humility for me than it is being private. Thank you. Done.
This is another tough one.
Okay.
All right. Please give us a brief sketch of your drinking career up to the time you quit.
Oh, boy. All I ever wanted to be in the whole wide world was a mother. And I was pregnant by the time I was 18, and I had left motherhood to go drinking by the time I was 22. And I did not return to motherhood until my son was 10 years old. I ended up in places that I swore to God I would never, ever go. Lower companionship, pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. And towards the end of my drinking, I was almost living in a tent in a park. And that was almost okay with me. And all the aspirations and the dreams and the hopes and the picture I had painted when I was, younger, where there was no semblance of any dream left. It was a dark and ucky place. And I used to be the life of the party. And then towards the end, I was lifeless. So that's a brief sketch. Done.
Alcoholism is described in the book as a fatal illness. What does that mean to you?
I think there's different forms of fatality. I had a spiritual fatality. I had an emotional fatality. And if I continue to drink, I'll have a physical fatality. I have killed off a lot of things inside of myself. And I think the last is the physical, for me, would have been physical death. Yes, I will continue to drink until I have annihilated every body. Yep, done.
What are the conditions of your mind and body that accompany your alcoholism?
Oh, the obsession of the mind, compulsion of the body. I really don't want to drink today. Really, I effing mean it. I don't want to drink today. And all of a sudden the brain starts talking to me, you can have one. You really could just go have one beer. And then I go to the bar and have one beer, and 10 years later I'm going to go pick up my kid. Done.
In your understanding, what is the role of a sponsor? Do you have a sponsor? And how often are you in contact?
I do have a sponsor. I just talked to her on Tuesday. I talk with her once a week. I used to meet with her once a week, but she's moved. And now I talk to her once a week. And I guess the experience, just sharing your experience, strength, and hope with another alcoholic. I used to be kind of an advice giver, and I've learned here that just doesn't work with alcoholics. So I'm just sharing my experience with other alcoholic. Done.
How have your sponsorship needs changed from early sobriety until now?
Well, for sure. Early sobriety would have been more of a physical recovery, like needing to recover physically and probably spiritually, and needing to call and talk to my sponsor more often about cravings and, getting really upset and wanting to have a drink. And what it is for me today after staying sober for a while is more of a emotional sobriety. Call in, check in, hey, I'm feeling wonky. I'm starting to get angry, restless, irritable, discontent. Don't feel like drinking, but I feel like ripping somebody's face off. Done.
Have you completed the 12 steps? And if so, what is your suggested time frame for completing the steps of AA?
Oh, John, I have completed the 12 steps. I don't know. It took me a really long time, to be honest. I sat on step 8 for years. I was making amends, like paying off PG&E, and I think I even took somebody through the steps, right? And I had not made the 8-step list. I just balked. And finally when I did it. It's just a personal journey. Of course I would say, get them done. Because after I did them, I was like, whoa, what was I waiting for? But I had to do what I had to do to get there. And do them fast and then do them over again, or I don't know. Yeah, done.
Wonderful. In your own words, please describe steps 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I like this one. I can't. He can, so I think I'll let him, right? I give up. God, please show up. And I think I'll let you. Yeah, I just give up. I give up and something else needs to take over. Surrender to win. Let God steer the boat. Done.
What does your unmanageability and self-will look like?
Today? My eating habits are probably unmanageable. Yeah. Self-will, I still am opinionated, still want my way at times, pout, manipulate, but I know that I'm doing it. I don't get to really get away with it anymore. Unmanageability, I was actually talking to my husband about this because he was just doing step 1, and there's not a lot. Really isn't. And I hope not. I hope I've been sober long enough where I'm not creating messes all the time anymore. I've got some good tools that I've picked up here. But unmanageability often would be my thinking. My head still just wants to rule me, wants to dominate my being. And I need to keep that. I have to practice keeping that in check. But any external unmanageability, not really. Done.
What is your concept of a power greater than yourself, and how are you turning your will and your life over to it?
Oh boy. So I used to think that it was something outside of myself. I used to seek for God in churches and sweat lodges and temples. I was seeking for God outside of myself. And I don't know if this sounds arrogant, I hope not, but after working the steps and removing these things that stood in my way and blocked me from my own light of spirit, I found God within myself. So it's almost like a higher consciousness. Absolutely, there is a power greater than myself in the universe and consciousness, but I don't really identify with a physical manifestation of that. I love the tenets of all the religions, but for me, it's just kind of a higher consciousness kind of thing. Yes, I turn my will and life over to it on a daily basis. I'm continually shoring myself up, checking myself, putting myself back on the beam. Because I was showed a new path, the principles. We were talking about that today. I'm probably going to start talking about God. I'm going to go on and on. Yeah. Principles, doing the right thing, higher consciousness. Done.
Please briefly describe your experience with steps 4 and 5.
Okay, I saw that question before. So I have a good answer. Step 4 and 5, the first time I did it was rad, right? I was like totally like, I'm walking on air. I was delivered. Every song on the radio was beautiful. But it made sense in the moment, it was just like from God. And, but I hadn't told my biggest, dirtiest secret to my sponsor at the time. So then I did another 4 and 5 with a woman that I tried to run across it really fast. 4 and 5, this my thing, the thing that I was not going to ever tell anybody. And I blurted it out, but I kept running. And she's like, let's get back here. Let's talk about that. And we talked about that. And I felt like fucking dying. I felt like fucking killing myself after that 4 and 5 step. But I hung in there. I didn't drink. I stayed with the program. I suffered through that feeling and I was uncomfortable for a while, but I let myself be uncomfortable. And now I am totally free from the bondage of that secret and I can look the world in the eye. It was a sincere house cleaning and I appreciate her for that. Does that make sense? Thank you. Done?
That's wonderful sense.
Okay.
What does the exact nature of our wrongs mean to you?
Exact nature. Exact nature of my wronged me. Well, a true self-appraisal. Taking a real stock in my character defects. Getting down to the causes and conditions. Fear. Typically it's fear. The exact nature of my wrong usually is something fear-based. 99% of the time, if not 100. Exact nature. I need that dictionary. Break down that concept. Exact. That's all I got on that one. I'm going to dig into that one a little deeper.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Please briefly describe, in your own words, of course, steps 6 and 7.
The best steps. Damn. And they don't go over them enough in the big book. If you ask me, nobody did. But 6 and 7 are so important. They're so important to me. I didn't really know that somebody had to tell me I was sick when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous. You're sick. And I'm like, what? I felt totally justified in all my behaviors and all of my resentments and all of my character defects. I felt totally justified and self-righteous in them. And learning that I even had them and that they could go away, that they were going to be removed was an amazing proposition for me. I didn't know why I kept doing the same thing over and over again. And I just didn't get that. I thought if I changed situation, that the situation would get better, things would get better. And it was never better. It was always me ending up in the same place doing the same goddamn thing because I didn't have any other tools except for my character defects. So, man, I had to know what those were so I could stop creating wreckage. Just so I could stop creating some freaking wreckage in my life. And I had no idea. I thought the way that I was being was the way I had to be. And so to realize that they were actually impediments rather than survival skills and they were, but they weren't serving me any longer. And wow, I done extensive work on 6 and 7. Done.
In your opinion, did they go over step 6 and 7 enough in the big...
No!
Oh.
Why not? That's good stuff. That's necessary. Yeah.
So, what are some of your character defects, and are they being removed?
Ooh, I am so judgmental. Really hard on people. I'm punishing. I am gossipy. Super critical. Did I say that? I can be just downright mean. Paranoid, untrusting, untrustworthy, probably. Angry. When I first got here, I was so full of rage. And yes, it's being removed because today I'm just pissed. Right? It's moderating. But no, a lot of my, I'm aware that I'm being that way today. You know, I'm not dominated by my character defects anymore. They creep up, but there's a way out. So yeah, I'm not a liar and a thief and a cheat anymore. You know, big time. I probably still lie when somebody says, "How are you doing?" "I'm fine." Yeah, that's a lie. Maybe. Maybe not. But yeah. You know, I always forget too that God can and will remove those things if I ask. I still try to manage and control my anger all by myself. I still try to manage and control my gossiping all by myself. Done.
Please briefly describe steps 8 and 9.
So what I learned by balking on step 8 is that the principle behind step 8 is brotherly love. I have people problems. I have relationship problems. It was really easy to pay off PG&E, but to go up to my sister and tell her that I was a horrible big sister to you and I treated you like crap, it hurt me. It made me feel really sad. It made me feel like shit. So step 8, I didn't want to do that, right? And what I realized is step 7 is about humility, that I didn't have the humility because I wasn't cool with my character defects yet, and I wasn't fully willing to take full responsibility of the exact nature of my wrongs, that I wasn't ready for step 8. I wasn't ready. That's probably bullshit. I wasn't willing. So it's about my relationships and with people and showing my heart. So steps 8 and 9 are for me. Thanks.
Why is it important for you to straighten out your past?
Because whether I know it or not, I'm carrying it around. It's there. In my subconscious, in my soul, in my psyche, I'm carrying around all the damage I've done. And until I straighten it out, clean it up, I will not be a free woman. I'll carry it around and be burdened by it, just like that 4th and 5th step that I didn't. I felt like I was walking on effing clouds, but I hadn't done the full house cleaning. And so I think it's important. I think it says in the Bible that we pay Nero what's Nero's. You know, like when I come back, I don't want to be bringing a bunch of garbage. I want to clean up my garbage. So I'm unburdened. Clear, freer to be of service too. Thanks, done. Okay, went over.
When you were actively drinking, did you drink whiskey in your milk?
No. No, but we did mix some crazy ass things. No. That doesn't even make sense.
Okay. But it's so fun. Please briefly describe your experience with steps 10 and 11.
Ooh. I'm doing them today. You know, I'm still experiencing those. Hopefully I continue to experience those. I think that's part of the 10, 11, 12 dance is I'm constantly on a daily basis self-appraisal, shoring myself back up, getting back on the beam when I slip a little, consciously connected, I think, all day, all day. It's the higher consciousness. I'm always tapped into it. In the evening, I will get on my knees because I've just balked at that before because I thought it was dumb. So I force myself to do the things that I kind of balked at, like getting on my knees. Just 10 and 11, right? We're just doing 10 and 11. So I think actually 10 really bleeds into 11. I really think that the discipline that it takes to continually self-improve, self-correct is a form of prayer and connection with my higher power. When I try to emulate what I think my higher power would have me be, and I need to stay in diligence with step 10 to continue to be that. Done.
What does meditation mean to you, and how do you practice it?
Ooh, not well. Not often enough. Oh, man. So my loophole, my cop-out for meditation is that I'm always in prayer because my life is a prayer. And my daily interactions with my fellow man are a prayer, and hopefully I'm bringing something, to the table. And I do like to close my eyes and kind of like turn my brain off, and I can get there. And I don't do that as often as would probably be more beneficial to me, but it's a rad place, that like peace zone in your mind. And why I don't go there, I don't know, right? Because it's good. It makes me feel good. It's kind of silly. Alcoholics are weird. So we do things that don't make us feel good, make us feel like shit, but we won't do the things that help us often. But that is something that I should, and will improve upon. Thanks.
To avoid the subtle foe that is alcohol, the book says we do not let up on our spiritual program of action. Please tell us about your spiritual program of action.
I just try not to be an asshole today. Quit lying, quit cheating, quit taking the easy way out, quit loopholing, get on your knees, give it away, go to a meeting. I'm just really grateful when I take a shower in the morning. I'm just so grateful for warm running water and to really feel gratitude in my heart. That's a spiritual action for me. I used to be like, what's God's will? What's God's will? Right? There's a principle called honesty. That's God's will. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Persevere when you feel like quitting. Be kind when you feel like kicking somebody in the nuts. Get on your knees when you feel like you just want to stay under the covers. For me, that's spiritual action. I'm kind of German. Thanks.
Please briefly describe step 12.
Ooh, I didn't know what it meant. Having had a spiritual awakening, I thought that I knew because I had a pretty profound spiritual awakening in early sobriety. But having had a spiritual awakening as the result of completing the 12 steps, I got it. I got what it meant. Like I had that feeling, and you can't transmit something you don't have. Like all of these things that I'd been reading for years, and I thought that I knew what they meant. I really got a sense of what it meant. And I don't need to be a superstar in Alcoholics Anonymous and the funny girl or the whatever person, I just, getting close to God has actually been, and I've been sharing this lately, is that sharing my experience with another alcoholic with nothing expected in return. Absolutely unconditional, heartfelt, honest, sincere giving. Wow. It's a beautiful thing. Done.
Can you share with us a spiritual experience you have had as the result of these steps?
So I've been with my significant other for like 12 years. He's also in the program, and I love him dearly. I do. And we have grown and we have learned so much together about the man-woman relationship. But I've recently worked with a couple newcomers, ladies, and the feeling that I have in my heart has grown tremendously by having walked walked with these girls through the steps. It has changed my level of compassion, empathy, feeling. Really has. It's done a big number on my heart. It's just a love thing. Thanks.
What is the message of AA, and why is it important to carry this message?
What is the Damn! So big. It's so big, and it's probably so simple. It's God. There is a solution. There is a solution to your misery. There is a solution to your disconnect. And if you would just give this a try, if you would just let go of all your preconceived notions and your ideals and your thoughts and your individuality and your lone wolf bullshit, you would just get in the middle of this crowd and just try this. You will have a life beyond your wildest dreams. Didn't even know that this was available to me. Done.
What are some of the principles you are practicing in your affairs today?
Service. Courage. Honesty. Willingness. Brotherly love. I'd say discipline, but that's a lie. Terrible at discipline. I hope humility. Done.
Why is it important to put the welfare of others ahead of your own?
So my sponsor's a black belt in Al-Anon as well, and she would beat me down. But because the anonymity principle, right? I am not as important as I think I am. Not as important as I think I am. So the welfare of others helps me in putting them, should I say before me? How about with me? Alongside me. Putting their welfare alongside mine makes us brothers. I like that. Done.
How do you determine or gauge the quality of your sobriety in AA?
Well, restless, irritable discontent. If I'm really judgy, if I'm really starting to gossip, if I start to lie, quality of my sobriety. How willing am I to go to any length today? Some days it's less than others. Am I willing to surrender it all? Can I surrender everything? Let go absolutely. That's part of the journey for me. But I think that's freedom from the bondage of self would be ultimate, absolute let go. Man, I hope to find out what that is. Done.
Are you willing and able to sponsor other members currently?
I am. And I am. Done.
Perfect. Presently, what is the most important activity in your recovery program?
Service, sponsorship, step work with other women in the program, newcomers. Absolutely. Yep. Hands down. Done. Prayer. Prayer's good. Prayer's all right. Done.
Would you please generally describe the purpose of the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Oh, so the steps are for the individual, the traditions are for the group. I actually use the traditions in my work life. I practice the traditions. I've learned how to interact with work environment by going to business meetings, and how, my opinion doesn't really mean shit. Keep your mouth shut and just kind of, you're not the boss, Keely. Oh. And I actually use the traditions in my personal life too, like number 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting. I ought to be full self-supporting. I just kind of, some principles. Good. Done, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What role models do you have in sobriety?
Raider Jim. He makes me happy when I see him. My sponsor's a badass. My sponsees are badasses. You guys are badasses. All of us. I'm not a big admirer. I'm kind of an a-hole. I don't want to put anybody on a pedestal. I really don't. Because they will fall off. I'm going to let us just all be human beings and just love us all for where we're at. Yeah. Gandhi. Done. Mother T. Mama T.
What advice do you have for newcomers in AA?
No matter what. Try not to pick up that first drink no matter what. Call somebody. All the shit that I didn't do, right? Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Give it a try. Your ideas suck. Just give this shit a try. It's awesome. Believe me. Stick around. Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. It's going to be okay. We'll love you until you can love yourself. Glad I stuck it out. Done.
What advice do you have for old-timers in AA?
Yeah. You got to give it away to keep it. We'll love you until you can love yourself. Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. Do some more work. You're stale. No, I'm kidding. You're starting to get sick. Need a little more digging, a little more excavating. Thank you. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for keeping the doors open. Thank you for continuing a legacy. Thank you for showing me what good sobriety or maybe even not so good sobriety looks like. Thank you for staying sober. Thank you. Done.
Can you please describe what this experience was like?
It was cool. Like I was saying earlier, it's like I can't have my shtick. A little bit. I kind of got a shtick when I do my share, or chair. And so this was a little bit more direct and quick and not a lot of time to process and not a lot of time to come up with some fancy BS. Thanks.
Let's give a hand for Keely for being here to do this. All right. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I wish to remind you that whatever is said at this meeting expresses our own individual opinion as of today and as of up to this moment. We do not speak for AA as a whole, and you are free to agree or disagree as you see fit. In fact, it is suggested that you pay no attention to anything which might not be reconciled with what is in the AA Big Book. If you don't have a Big Book, it's time you bought one. Read it, study it, live with it, loan it, scatter it, and then learn from it what it means to be in AA. Let's conclude by holding hands in a circle and saying the Serenity Prayer.